Fine. Now we'll see about the form of a C program. That is, how a C program looks. What are the different parts of a C program? The first part of a C program is going to be a preprocessor statement. So the first part is going to be a preprocessor statements. That is, anything which starts with an hash, we call it as a preprocessor statement. There are many preprocessor statements provided by in a C language. That is an hash include, hash define, hash if, hash endif, hash else, okay, hash undefined. So all these are called as an preprocessor statement. So here we are using a word preprocessor, not as an processor statement. That's because these statements gets executed before your program execution starts. There is a stage called as a compilation stage and linking stage. Okay, that both we call it as a compile time. So these all statements will get executed during compile time. Hence they are called as a preprocessor statement. More details about why it is called as a preprocessor statement, we'll discuss about that. This is going to be the first part of your C program, and the second part is going to be something called as a global variable declaration. So second part is a global variable declaration. Now in your C program, it's going to be nothing but a set of small modules. A C program is going to be nothing but set of small modules. So instead of calling it as a module, you can call them as an functions. So the whole C language software is going to be a collection of like this functions. Okay. Now inside this function you want to store some data. So for example, you will declare an A variable and store in that A location 10. Okay, so to store A, you need to specify, you have to declare it. So declaring is nothing but you have to specify what type of value you're going to store. That's an integer and then A like this. So there are different data types. We'll be discussing even about that. Okay, fine. So this A can hold an integer value. This is called as a declaration line. Now this A has been declared within this function. Okay, same way inside this another function, second function, I'll declare here int X. So in the third function, I'll declare int y. So this A is declared in the first function. You cannot access in the second and third function. If you try to access it, it will give an error message. Okay. Same way, this X has been declared in the second function. That X can be accessed only within the second function. You can use it only within the second function. If you try to access that X variable somewhere in the first function or in the third function, your compiler gives an error message. That is, that X variable, this A variable is local to this first function, this X is local to the second function, this Y is going to be the local to the third function. So because this A can be used only within that function where you have declared it, so these variables we call them as an local variables. But if I want to use a variable in all the three places, a single variable has to be accessed in all the three variables, then such variables has to be declared outside the function, not within the function. So here let's take for example the G variable is declared outside the function. So this G can be accessed in all the three places. Hence we call this as global variables. So local variables are the one which can be accessed within the function. Global variables are the one which can be accessed in any function. So those variables, those global variables has to be declared immediately after this preprocessor statement. That's going to be the second part of your C program. So after global variables, then you can start your main function, or else like for example, this is one function. So as I said, your C program is collection of functions. So like this, you can have any number of functions written below this. So in that one function is going to be a main function. We'll see about that later. Okay, so this main function is the one which can, whenever you run the program, this is the first function which gets executed. Okay, so in your whole program there will be only one main function. The rest all functions what you write, we call them as an sub functions. So your main function starts with a void main or int main. Open the curly brace. This open curly brace is called as the start of your function, and then inside this, so as I said, this a is a local to this function, x is a local to the second function. Same way, all those local variables has to be declared immediately after your open curly brace. So local variable declaration. Okay, and then you can write here any number of C statements. So let's take it as set of statements. Okay, and then the function ends with an close brace. This open curly brace is treated as an begin the function, and this close curly brace is being treated as an end of the function. So this is one main function. So like that, you can have here any number of sub functions. So I can take up here one more function, void. We call them as a sub function. And here within the sub function, again, you can declare local variables, local variable declaration, and set of statements. And then close. So like this, n number of sub functions you can have in a program. So this is how your C program looks. We'll take an example and see each and every part of that. So once again, I'll repeat it. The first part of the C program is going to be a preprocessor statement. Second is going to be a local variable declaration, and then the main function. So within the main function, you will be having a local variable declaration and set of statements. This local variable declaration and set of statements is been enclosed within this open and close curly brace. So like that, you can have n number of even sub functions.